All right, I am here with Joel and Megan McCafferty of McCafferty Ranch.
And Megan Gondero.
Yeah, McCafferty Gondero.
And you were just telling me you guys have been here since 1926?
Yep. Yeah, my granddad came here in 1926. Purchased some cattle and got the brand, and that's when he got started here.
So where did he come from?
Came from Indiana, and they came to the Belt area in 1900.
And had he been ranching before?
Yeah. Yep. So they've been here quite a while. On my mom's side, they came here in 1876 in the Belt area.
Wow.
And started ranching.
So what brought me out to the ranch was I had seen through Drew, who's going to open Central Avenue Meats, post about grass-fed beef, and so that's what we kind of came out to look at. And so I don't know if you could share kind of your short journey of getting there or here.
Yeah, we it's kind of been a goal for a long time to raise healthy, nutritious, having a good eating experience, really forever. And just because of the grasses, having not such good feed during the winter, you can't produce a good product year round. And so once we saw the hydroponic plant, we decided that that was a way we were going to investigate to see if we could get good, healthy, nutritious beef year-round and consistent to the consumer at a good price, and we think that we've done it. So that's how we started and why.
Okay, and Megan, you grew up on the ranch.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go away to school and then come back?
Mm-hmm. Both my husband and I went to school in Bozeman, and I actually got accepted into optometry school, and it was probably like a week before I had to decide if I was going to go or not. I declined, and we moved here instead. And yeah, we wanted to ranch instead of being in town, so I don't know if it was the best financial decision, but we're here.
Yeah, Megan's really done most of the look into the nutrition aspect of the beef and knows that portion way better than I do, and I'm more just a grunt.
And so how many head of cows do you run?
We run about 800 mother cows.
So 800 cows, and of those cows, how many can you successively feed the fodder?
We can, to fatten, we can feed about 130 head every 125 days.
With the plant?
Mm-hmm.
And that's at kind of full operation right now?
Yeah.
Could be expanded, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And so it's kind of a little feedlot operation right here in our ranch.
And you said you haven't been able to get everything tested?
No, we don't have the nutrition profile on the actual beef, but we're hoping in the next few weeks we actually will. So.
And we do on the feed.
On the feed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
On the feed.
So, yeah. And but the nutritionists that we've talked to, the beef nutritionists and stuff, think that this will be healthier than regular grass-fed cow. So we're hoping that that's how that tests out.
Yeah, from the outside, just kind of following, I was assuming that it was them eating the grass, but it's really not. It's them eating, and maybe you can explain that as them eating the sprouted grain.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. It's the grain, it just sprouts and it forms a root system, and most of the nutrients and micronutrients are really in the root system.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where really all the power is, and we're feeding it at about day 6 on the scale. It starts off with seed and water, and day 6 you got grass, but it's really the rooted mass where all the nutrition is.
Once the seed sprouts, it is no longer a grain, it's a grass. So you don't even have to see green, because just the composition of it is completely different. So it's a grass once it's sprouted.
How'd you come up with this crazy idea?
Well, it started off that a friend of mine had a really small hydroponic plant, and he was just using it to supplement cattle with. And then when I saw his operation, it clicked with kind of a lifelong dream of providing a good product without having to go to the feedlot in the Midwest and do the whole business right off your ranch. And so that's where that came from. So then with this friend, Brandon Rickert is his name, we talked with him quite a bit, and he had a lot of ideas about building a building and doing it all in a big building. And so we all sat down, and a few friends, and designed this building and started working on it. And then we built it and had a lot of problems, and we've been trying to solve problems ever since.
So, yeah, points along the way, were there ever points where you like got so far into it and thought, man, this isn't gonna work?
Well, we did build it so that we could put a big shop door at the end of it instead of
And turn it into a nice heated shop or a swimming pool. But no, we're here for the long haul. We are stubborn, I guess, but we kind of believe in it. We think that it's the right thing to do for us. There's a segment of the population we feel that's really demanding farm to table. They want to know where their beef's coming from. No hormones, antibiotics. We know everything about the beef from the day of birth to day of harvest. And so, and we're putting our name behind the beef, and we really want to make it a good experience, and we're going to continually get better to perfect this operation that we're in, how we're doing it, to get the lowest price but best quality beef that you can possibly get. We think in Montana that we raise the best cattle in the world, is what us Montana cowboys think. And there's a lot of facts behind that, but a lot of it is longitude and latitude and the type of cattle we can raise here, but there's been a lot of attention to genetics. And then we normally sell that beef, it goes to the Midwest, and then they take our beef and then it goes to expensive restaurants, and it goes to Europe and Japan and all these fancy places. And then they import beef from Mexico or places of Argentina. And then a lot of things happen in the food system, and it goes through, and it's stamped USDA when it's not US beef producers that are producing it. And then it ends up in our grocery stores, and then unsuspecting people come in and they can buy cheap food in America, but some of it isn't the best. So, and we in Montana, we feel like our beef is, really good, and then it gets shipped out and it's going to other places.
Yeah.
And we would like to keep some of our high quality food local.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So that's kind of what drove the whole, our whole plan, and we're hoping it succeeds.
Just kind of that maybe nosy question. But how many cows did your grandfather start with?
Well, they didn't have hardly, through the 30s they barely survived, and they raised mainly horses.
Okay.
And so very few cattle, mainly horses. They raised potatoes and
Just
had pigs and chickens and just tried to survive. And that's how and then in the 40s he started running more and more cattle, and then he built up to a pretty nice ranch.
so it kind of started off as almost a farm type,
Yeah.
and by the 40s it's been a kind of a
Yeah,
ranch
after
ever
World
since.
War II things started perking up a little bit better, and then he just continued to kind of grow and get a little bigger. And every generation we've had our troubles. So, but that's part of the success, I think, is
Yeah.
if you struggle, you tend to hang around longer from generation to generation, I think, than the real successful ranches tend to disappear because they've had too much success.
Yeah, that kind of life is some struggles. If you can get through the struggles, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we need to talk about that we've missed?
Anything on the nutrition end? And,
How do people get the product?
well, we're, like you mentioned Drew earlier, at Central Avenue Meats, and we really want everybody to shop at his store. We think he's going to be dry aging beef, and So it'll be grass fat cattle that is dry aged, which we know you can't find anywhere else, probably in Montana, and very few,
Yeah.
anywhere.
Because you can't get a big enough fat cap on grass-fed finished beef in order to be able to dry age. So ours do have a big enough fat cap on them
Wow.
that
Yeah.
he's able to do it.
So this might be some of the only dried beef that's grass fed in the United States.
I think so. Drew knows more about that end of it, but I'd certainly say in Montana, and there's not very many in the United States anywhere.
Like I called a lot of butchers at the beginning of this. Like I just was dry calling a lot of places and just seeing if they'd be interested. And most butchers were like, "No way, I will never serve grass-fed finished beef." And be like, "Well, just let me send you a sample. Just let me show you." And most people when they saw it, they're like, "Oh, that's not what I was expecting to see." So I was.
Yeah, most of these beef people, all they have to do is look at your steak.
Yeah.
And then they go, okay, I know what we got. And so once they started looking at our actual steaks, just the pictures, then they're like, I'm interested. And then we started in taste tests. We've won every taste test we've been in. And so that's kind of how it grew.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
And so, yeah, but our business model, we'd love to sell locally to Montana people.
Yeah, we sell quarter, halves, and wholes right now.
And so you have it on your website.
Yeah, on our website, social media, whatever, word of mouth, and we are working on like 50-pound, 25-pound variety boxes.
And we have, customers in California and some other states, which we really appreciate, but, we'd much rather deal local. Transportation and that turns into a very costly beef.
Yeah,
to
we
get
just
it
have to raise our prices so much.
to California, and they still are buying it, but it's just a lot easier to deal with
Yeah.
local.
Yeah.
Anything else you can think of?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you have a dream in 10 years where you'd like to see this?
Well, yeah, I'd like it to be profitable. Because it's been more just
An experiment.
an experiment. And yeah,
An
exactly.
expensive experiment.
And with a lot of work, but we're kind of weird.
Yeah.
And it probably financially hasn't made a lot of sense, to do it. But I honestly think that there's something there.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is in the product, and there is in the health benefits, and there is, we have a lot of customers wanting it. So we hope that financially that, we'd be able to, have the kids stay home, work off the ranch instead of having to go off farm income. Because most all ranches are being supplemented by off farm income.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to be able to keep your kids here where they don't have to leave and go do something that they hated for half their life
Yeah.
before they can ranch, which was my route.
Yeah.
So when I left high school, I had to leave the ranch and hated every minute of it. Was glad
And then you have to figure out how can I come back on, and the ranch is worth a lot more than I can pay for it.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that was the whole problem, and that's really the real reason why we did this, is to provide maybe another revenue stream.
Mhm.
And so long term we hope that's
Yeah.
what it does.
Well, I hope that works, because I think that's a good model for family businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a way to bring family back in, because if you just keep going the same route,
Yeah.
then you try to work harder, cut costs, and make those 800 cows produce for 2 families now instead of
Right.
1.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that old model we've done our whole, for 4 generations. So we kind of know
Yeah.
what happens is it's a struggle, and we've all made it barely,
Mhm.
and so it would be nice to. And then a lot of the family members don't get to ranch and stay,
Yep.
and
Well, that's the funny thing. Most everyone that's been ranching wants to stay ranching. You know, like, it doesn't really seem to make sense.
It's the
but-
financial reasons why
Yeah.
they're not. It isn't the lifestyle, it's not the work.
That's all
That's
money.
all superb in the ranching lifestyle. It's the financial end that they get run off.